Today we're going to be talking about the most spoiled, rotten, I could say so many mean things about this guy, but I'll say for the video, UFC fighter of all time, Yair Rodriguez. And I'm going to be going over why I hate him and why I think he's the most spoiled fighter to ever grace the UFC roster. Now, Yair Rodriguez debuted at first in the UFC in 2014, and I think it was an Ultimate Fighter thing. I can't remember, but something like that. Goes on a little win streak, beats BJ Penn in 2017. 2017 to get Frankie Edgar, who in his last fight just lost to Jose Aldo for the interim championship at UFC 200. Gets his ass beat bad. I'm talking B-A-D, all caps, bad. Look at how Frankie had this dude looking. Look at this. Beat his ass bad. Thank you, Frankie Edgar. Legend. Then he fights the Korean Zombie, we all know. Loses the entire fight until the very end, where he gets the crazy elbow KO, we all know. Wins that. Then he faces Jeremy Stephens. Has the whole eye poke thing where he eye pokes Jeremy Stephens. He eye pokes him. And then he gets mad at Jeremy Stephens for complaining about getting eye poked. Fight ends up being a no contest. Fight ends up being a no contest. They rebook it. He wins the UD where he lost the third round super clearly because he got out-wrestled and didn't know what to do off his back. In his next fight, this was one of the first of his many bookings against Zabit Magomedsharipov. Now, if you know me, this was his second time. He actually originally got booked to face Zabit after the Frankie Edgar fight. Now, I've never said it on my channel, but if anybody who knows me, my MMA opinions, which is very little people, I don't think Zabit was that great. I think Zabit was very overrated. I don't think he definitely wouldn't have beaten Volker Max. It was not that good. But anyways, moving on my opinions of Zabit. He blatantly ducked Zabit very badly. And do I think Zabit could have beat Yair? Yes. Would he have? Now, I don't think so. But he definitely could have beaten it. Like, it wouldn't have been like, oh, Yair easy. It would have been like, I could see I would have picked Yair, but he blatantly ducked him badly. Very, very badly. Then the fights we just went over. Ducks him again because of an injury. And then he gets cut from the UFC for refusing to take matchups against Zabit and other contenders because I think he wanted a title shot after beating Jeremy Stephens. Jeremy Stephens. Title shot. Anyway, then he has a controversy with drug testers. He hid from drug testers and got a 6-month ban for it and removed from the rankings. Now, who else has hid from drug testers before that ended up being a steroid cheat? Huh. I can't think of anybody. Maybe a John Jones? Now, I may end up cutting this out of the video because I don't know if my laptop is good enough to show this footage. I have a really bad laptop. But I will explain it afterward. So just ignore me if I don't cut this out of the video and it looks good, and I'm just going to quickly recap it. I'm going to let this play real quick. Remember, we just talked about John Jones, alright?
Remember one time when I was training in Albuquerque, and then he approached me. He said, hey, can you come here, please? And I was like, yeah, for sure. He's like, what's your name? I told him my name, and he was like, your skills are impressive. How old are you? I was 21 years old in that moment. And he said, when I was 21 years old, I didn't have those skills. you're gonna get far in this sport. Keep going. And you know that coming from John Jones in that moment when he wasn't my friend and he was just giving me inspiration words. It was like something really special for me, and you make me believe in myself even.
Now, you could say, Noah, you're got to stretch this. I am. Could one not surmise from this that a infamous steroid cheat John Jones, a guy who was banned for 6 months for avoiding drug testers, maybe, I don't know, shared a similar passion for needles, we'll say? You know? I think that's not that far out there. So, do I think Yair was on the sauce? Probably. Why would you be hiding from drug testers if you have nothing to lose from them testing you? Like, guys who have never tested positive and have never had problems with USADA like that. I mean, obviously, that's not fully true. You know what I mean? Like, they've had problems with USADA, but they've never had problems where, like, they were running from USADA. They were just like, oh, USADA woke me up in the middle of the night. USADA keeps testing me every 2 days. You know, stuff like that. And I don't know. I just find it a little suspicious. But moving on. After all of this drama, he gets himself a fight booked against number one in the world, Max Holloway. He has a somewhat close fight with Max. I don't know why this says he has 6 losses. He has 5. Anyway, pretty close fight. I'll give him credit. Max clearly won, though. Get the fuck out of here. So then he gets Brian Ortega, wins via injury. Injury doesn't even be, like, I'll give him credit. He caused the injury, but still, injury doesn't even get a submission or a KO. And then he gets the interim belt against Josh Emmett, who there was really no point for an interim belt. I guess there kind of was. If Volk beat Makhachev, then it was kind of like, what if Volk stays at 145, and then we don't have a 145 champ, we need a matchup. But it was, let's just be honest, it was an excuse for if Volk won and moved up to lightweight to have a Mexican featherweight champion, because the UFC, as we all know, really wants that Mexican marketplace. I don't know why. They have no, like, excellent fighters in the UFC right now. Moreno's on a 2-fight losing streak. Yair's nowhere near a title shot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get why they so bad. Grasso did get a really cool finish, to give her credit. I don't know why they want to bring it to that market so bad. It's not as great as they think. Please go to Europe. People clearly... Anyway, I'm not going to get into that right now. But he loses that again, or wins that, gets the title shot against Volk, gets smoked, loses to Brian Ortega when Ortega doesn't get injured, and gets subbed in round 3. And then he takes a year off. Also, he took a year off after the Volk fight. Forgot to mention that. Yair loves his yearly breaks. Yair loves his one fight a year, ask for a title shot after. Takes another year off after the Ortega fight, beats Patricio Pitbull, who, as we see, not the greatest of wins. Not the greatest of wins to have on your resume. It's not like, yo, you beat Pitbull. It's like, I guess you beat Pitbull, man. And now he is calling for a title shot. Once again, he thinks he's deserving of a title shot. At the moment, Yair is ranked 5th in the division. But I want to go over something. Let's look at something that I think is pretty funny. Let's go over who in this top 15 at the moment Yair Rodriguez has wins over. Okay, never fought Evloev. Okay, or lost to Volk. Forgot to start with that. Lost to Volk. Got his ass beat. Never fought Evloev. Ducked Diego Lopez. Oh yeah, I'll go over that in just a second. Hasn't fought Lerone Murphy. Hasn't fought Aljo. Hasn't fought Arnold Allen. He hasn't fought it. Oh, Brian Ortega, who's leaving the division, so I'm just gonna ignore that one. Number 15 ranked Patricio Pitbull, whose only win is Dan Ige. Wow. That deserves a title shot right there. That guy, I think we can all admit, like Evloev, who the hell thinks Evloev deserves a shot? It's not like he's beating number two, number three, number seven, like, and to a guy out of the rankings, just freshly out of the rankings, Dan Ige. Nah, 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 nah. Why would we give that bum? Oh, and number four, I forgot to mention about Aljo. Why would we give that bum a title shot, bro? Let's give Yair Rodriguez, who's only beaten number 15 ranked, 1 and 2 in the UFC now, Patricio Pitbull. Let's give that guy a title shot. Let's go over the blatant ducking of Diego Lopez. This man badly, and when I say badly, I need to emphasize badly ducked Diego Lopez. If he would have beaten Diego Lopez, or fought Diego Lopez instead of Gene Silva and won, which I don't think he would have, I think Diego Lopez would have whooped his ass, and I think he knows that, and that's why he ducked him. I think he would be getting a title shot. So not only, Yair, did you ruin your chances at getting a title shot, you look like a bigger coward for ducking this man. He had the whole thing at the press conference. You all know. I don't got to go over it. At UFC 314, they got into the argument. Literally, one of the biggest bad blood matchups in the UFC by far. And he ducked it. He has now been out the entirety of this year and has no signs of a fight getting booked. So, we'll see how it works out. I say book him against Kevin Vallejos so we can watch Kevin Vallejos murder him in the octagon. Um, I hate Yair Rodriguez at this point of this video. I don't wish him to die or anything like that, even though I said murder. I just hope his career goes terribly now. I hope he loses like his next 5 fights in a row. I hope he has a Tony Ferguson-esque fall off. But we'll see. We'll see how it all works out. I just hate Yair Rodriguez. Duck, coward, bum, who realistically should be ranked just above Brian Ortega or below Brian Ortega, like number 12. Um, but will be ranked 5 because the UFC really likes him and he is the definition of a rank squatter. He is worse than Leon Edwards back in like 2021, 2020, whenever it was when Leon Edwards was doing it, and he literally got removed from the rankings. He's a worse rank squatter than him. Thank God they moved Aljo above him. If Gene Silva wins his next fight, move him above him and Arnold Allen above him. Zalal should be above him. Like, I just hate him so much, and I hope he loses his next fight. If he ever fights again, I mean, he might get a title shot next. People do the whole meme of we might get Lopez Volk 3, and it's funny because he got an undeserved second fight with Volk. But it would be even more undeserving if Yair got a title shot. Because at least Diego Lopez beat a good contender in Gene Silva, while Aljo, Yair's best win is against a 40-year-old, number 15 ranked guy. Yeah, man. Hopefully Yair Rodriguez gets slimed out in his next fight. I'll be doing predictions tomorrow, so look out for those. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. A little bit of a hate session here. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one. Love y'all. Peace.